so we already know we're going to have the rewards. But it's that passion, that drive, that self-perseverance that you got to have. And for me, not having much of a so-called personal life, that's what makes it difficult.
Right.
Because you have to set aside the things when you know you're a family-oriented person, or when you love to go and hang out with the fellas and watch the game. But you're like, well, if I just do this, I can, that's going to let me be in a better place. And I always use a line that was from the great debaters. He says, I do what I got to do now, so I can do what I want to do later. And that's pretty much where I am at this particular stage in my life. And so that's what makes it, for me, it's a mental challenge, because you have to find that balance of going, okay, I'll take time to go to a movie versus, man, I can go to a movie later, I got to get this order out. And that's what it is. And then my second one has been just being sensitive to the community, the black community, wanting to do more, wanting to get myself out there more, but I have to kind of find myself in my own little cocoon, for lack of better words, right now, because I know that if I just stick to this now, I can help later on down the road. So that's what I would say has been a challenge for me, not so much as the money and all that, because I can deal with that part, but
what services or products do you specialize at T-Shirt King? What kinds of things do you do?
It's really interesting, because T-Shirt King is really kind of a play on words.
Okay.
There's over 400,000 different promotional products, so pretty much anything that can be printed we can do. We had the privilege this year of doing the AME's district convention, where we supplied everything, their ink pens, their banners, their padfolios, they bought so many things, buttons and church fans, so it goes on and on and on. And what we're able to do, and just given an opportunity, I can show folks that the other person's ice is not colder than our ice. You know what I mean? We can provide the same thing and save you and keep that dollar circulating in the community. And so that's what I would like to do more, and that's what we're able to do. It's a gamut of everything.
I know I've certainly utilized your services when it comes time to sending out either T-shirts or sweatshirts to my grandkids or to my daughter, in terms of taking a picture and having you to transpose it on a shirt. So both individuals can utilize your services,
that's right.
Clubs, organizations, churches.
There's no end to it. We are a service business, an industry that services all industries, and that's what's great about it. No one in business cannot use my service, because it's for marketing, for promotion, so forth and so on.
Well, that's glad. I'm glad to hear that.
And the individuals too, 'cause it makes a good gift idea at times.
Well, I'm certain that the three of you have probably found out that you probably work harder in your own business than you would have been if you were working for somebody else. The 40-hour work week, which is normally the standard for those few folks that are working, we got over 16 million folks today that don't have any work week.
Right.
But in terms of those that are working, their work week is probably much shorter than any of the three of you probably put in a typical week. And even when you're not at work, in your mind, and the things you're thinking about that you need to do or forgot to do or worried about doing, follows you right probably to the bed and wakes you up in the middle of the night by saying, my God, So, going into business is more than just a notion.
Oh, yeah.
But it's something that we need to do. But it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of gumption, stick-to-itness, not giving up, and those kinds of things. But we need to encourage people, not just to go to school and learn to get a job, but also learn to how operate a business.
And another thing, too, is when you go into business, you have to be prepared for the, they call it the Black Day, where no one comes in. Because I have, in my building, I have different units. And so I was renting to different businesses. And they didn't stay in business over a year because their clientele wasn't built up. So you got to, you know what I mean? So you got to be able to make it whether someone comes in there or don't. So you got to build that clientele up and then step out, I think, because in Peoria, you know, because the community, honestly, it does not support you right off the bat. I don't know why. They just, it takes, you can be in business 10 years and they'll say, I didn't know you had a business. You know, that's just the way we are here. But you just have to be able to handle it. And like, we don't get vacations. It's not like a regular job where you get 2 weeks off. You know,
vacation.
That's vacation, right? You don't get that. But in the long run, like with me in the fashion show and the scholarship, that's my reward.
Right.
And I have the passion to want to help and to want to showcase and do, you know. And like I said, born and raised here, you being around here, you know what we don't have. So you try to, as a leader in the community, to try to do things to make Peoria just a better place.
Well, I bet, in my mind, and probably from your experience, the way that you build your business and the best way to advertise is through a satisfied customer.
Yes.
A satisfied customer will direct other people your way, but unfortunately, a dissatisfied customer will mess you up. Normally, a dissatisfied customer will talk with 4 or 5 people. In fact, they'll go out of their way by saying, don't go by there, they don't know this, that kind of thing.
This is true.
But a satisfied customer, in their own way, not only will come back, but hopefully will cause others to come back. And I know that, like most small businesses and probably black businesses, you don't have the big marketing dollars. You can't buy the billboards. You can't get the TV ads, the radio ads. So the best way for you to maintain your business and to grow your business is through the satisfaction of your customers, through the quality of your services, the quantity of the kinds of things that you can offer to people, and the satisfaction that they have. And Ryan, do you have any comments in terms of a young man that's working in a family business, in terms of some of the things we're talking about, in terms of, you're probably working harder for mom and dad than you were if you were working somewhere else.
Taking errands to another level.
Yes.
Chores.
When I was younger, I always joked around and said there has to be some child labor laws on what's going on here. But I looked into it and turned out that if you're a child to the people, they can work you as hard as they want to.
Right. They don't always have to abide by it. Family business is a little different than a public business or private business.
But I loved it. I actually focused my whole life towards this business.
Well, that is great.
My education went to culinary art school and got my master's degree and
well,
MBA.
That's even better,
so
right?
Just so I can run the business effectively and with a good business mind. So, but I understand what they're saying. The 40-hour week, I would just dream of that.
Did any of you work in the private sector, the public sector, on a job and decided at some point that I think I've had enough of this and maybe I want to be my own boss or do some things of that type? Jen, I see you nodding.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I was in the healthcare.
Okay.
And I had got hurt on the job.
All right.
And then after that, I was done, really. And so my husband said, what's my personality? He said, with your personality, you can make this happen, you know. So we tried it and it worked.
Well, I'm so glad that whatever calls you to go in that direction, I'm a firm believer that some doors close because there's other doors God wants you to go through.
That's it.
And sometimes what we run into that we think is unfortunate may offer an opportunity. I know from what I had read in the past, and I assume it's true today, that a lot of folks who are laid off or can't find employment are now thinking in terms of establishing their own business. But it does take a lot of work. It does take a lot of effort. It takes a lot of planning, and it takes money. It takes money. But those doors aren't totally closed to us, and we need to realize again, when I was on the city council, I projected that just in terms of people that were living at that time in public housing, They had spending power of over $3 million, averaging $600 a month times 600 families who may have been on welfare at the time. When you kind of extrapolated that, that came out to over $3 million.
Wow.
And in terms of our buying power here in Peoria, here in the state of Illinois, and as I point out, in Chicago, there's $1 billion that we control.
Right.
We don't have to worry about whether the banks, although they need to do what they're supposed to, but we need to realize, let's not hold ourselves victim. I can't get the money. But somehow we've got to utilize what we have. We've got to support what we have. And I wish the three of you well. I hope that you are around when you're my age, and I'm 70. And by that time, the hard work that you do, your hair will probably be as gray as mine. You don't have any hair at all. But you are providing a service to the community. You're providing an opportunity for others to see you and follow you. And I certainly hope after tonight's show that there are many individuals or families that are thinking about, hey, I think I'm going to go into business. Peoria needs you. And believe me, it can play in Peoria. Again, I want to thank you for watching Captions. I hope that you found tonight's program as informational as I intended it to be, and as inspirational to inspire you to not just think about getting a job, but creating a job. Go into business for yourself. If that's something that you want to do, again, don't do anything because I encourage you, or your mate encourages, or your family encourages. Do something that you love to do, and that, as they say, if you love what you're doing, then you really don't ever go to work. You go to do what you would love to be doing anyway. This is Andre Bohannon saying good night. Hope to see you next week. May God bless you.